Hello and welcome to the Weather Hazard Briefing presented by National Weather Service Pocatello for Wednesday, August 28th. Here's what you'll see in this briefing. We have a cold front crossing through central and eastern Idaho. It's already moving into the northern part of our region this morning already. Will continue into tonight. This will increase the wind very close to critical thresholds for fire concerns, wildfire concerns. The timing, though, for the strongest wind is in the morning. Then there's a lull, and there might be some winds returning later in the afternoon in at least some of the locations. Fortunately, not where the big fires are, it looks like. We are looking for cooler afternoon highs compared to yesterday, but there is some extremely dry air, and that means that will offset any gains in humidity. And so we're actually expecting the humidity to trend lower than it was yesterday. A lot of places getting between 10 and 15%. And then high pressure will keep conditions very dry and nearly calm, though, for at least through Sunday afternoon. And a warming trend will start tomorrow. So here's a satellite. You can see the front very easily here in this satellite image as it's rolling through. You can see it mostly created some showers in Lemhi County potentially, and there was some lightning that got very close, but most of it stayed on the other side of the border with Montana. And so today it'll be breezy mainly in the morning for the Snake Plain, and then breezy in the Magic Valley and the South Hills with low RH. Minor impact just because it is approaching what we call red flag warning conditions, although it's not quite there. And then elsewhere we are expecting it to be breezy with some low RH in a lot of places, except for the eastern highlands where it will stay fairly high and above critical thresholds. And then breezy in the morning, and then the low RH in the afternoon for most of the central Idaho mountains. On Thursday, those winds will die out. We're expecting very light winds. It'll all be, especially in the mountains, it'll be valley slope wind effects will be more important than anything else. And we are expecting a very low RH to continue in most locations. And finally, even eastern highlands dries out on Friday and Saturday. And then on Sunday, the relative humidity does start to increase as a next low starts to approach, although it won't really get here until Monday and have a stronger impact on Labor Day. All right, so here's the warnings and advisories that are in effect today and tonight. You can see in southwestern Wyoming there is a red flag warning in effect. In our area, though, the only thing we really have is a lake wind advisory for the American Falls Reservoir, and that's for winds sustained of 20 miles an hour. Most of that is during the morning, and in fact the lake wind advisory expires at 3 p.m. this afternoon, as winds will actually be decreasing during the afternoon. That is very rare to see here in eastern Idaho. Elsewhere, we do have an air quality advisory out for Custer County, and here you can see why. This area labeled in white with the number 4 indicates where areas of smoke will be that are very impactful. A lot of these places are getting into conditions that are considered hazardous for sensitive groups. The 2s represent where we'll see a lot of haze. Same with 1, only not quite as much haze. And then up here is the only place we're expecting to see any sort of threat of precipitation, and it is just a slight chance. Everywhere where you see 0 means we aren't expecting any sort of impactful weather when it comes to precipitation or any sort of obscuration to vision. And here's why. Here's the low this morning. It will be still pushing through, should be exiting during the afternoon, and that means that's why the winds will actually be decreasing. A lot of times around here in the summer, the fronts sort of wait until the afternoon to actually move through, but not with this one. It's moving through during the overnight hours. for the most part, and in the morning. And you can see very little chance of measurable rainfall. The only place is up here in the Island Park area, and this is all between now and noon. After noon, this goes to 0. Here are the afternoon high temperatures for today. We are looking for the coolest day of the week today. You can see we will struggle to get into the lower 70s for a lot of locations, maybe middle 70s for places like Chalice, and you can see here in the Arco Desert it might get a little bit warmer than that. And you can see just these are actually lower for the most part than anything we had yesterday. You can see a lot of 10 to 15% readings are expected for the minimum relative humidity today. The gusts this morning, you can see pretty gusty wind, especially in the upper Snake River Plain. You can see gusts getting close to 45 to 50 miles an hour. That would be a peak wind. Doesn't last too long, but it does get that strong. We are expecting it to be that way. And these are gusts, not sustained winds. You can see it's already starting to die down in the central Idaho mountains during the morning hours. These are the maximum winds, and so you're just left with some places in the Lost River Valley gusting to around 25. A lot of locations, though, getting below that 25 mile an hour threshold. Then in the afternoon, again, it continues to be borderline up in here with the rebound, and you can see there's still some solid gusts to 25 to 30 miles an hour in the Snake River Plain and eastern Magic Valley, and it does spread to the south and east a little bit more, although not by much. Then this evening, again, we continue to see gusts to near 30 miles an hour over the eastern Magic Valley and portions of the Snake River Plain, mostly from Atomic City down through Craters of the Moon. But elsewhere, it is dying down strong. And you can see after midnight tonight, there's no real risk of seeing anything getting above 20 miles an hour unless you're in the Arco Desert and some of these higher elevations here in the in Sawtooth and in the Wood River Basin or Wood River drainage, but mostly at high elevations. All right, and then low temperatures tonight. You can see they should be considerably cooler than last night. We will not have the winds. When we get windy at night, we tend to have warmer temperatures. A lot of places this morning didn't even get to 50 degrees. But you can see we should be below freezing in places like Stanley Basin. Soda Springs will be very close. A lot of places here may see some frost. So this may be where you want to take some of your plants that are movable and take some protections, especially if you're in the more rural areas of the Snake River Plain and eastern Magic Valley. You can see the relative humidity should be way up as well for some of these places, although you can see the really dry air is spreading in, and it's already in the southern end of our forecast area. Then for tomorrow, you can see the high pressure is dominating. All the weather has moved to the south and east and will not be affecting us again until Sunday night at the earliest. So we are expecting temperatures to warm and humidities to stay very dry. And what the rest of this will be is basically temperatures and humidities. We don't expect any wind under high pressure like this. The winds will be very weak, and again, they'll be slope valley driven, so that means in the late mornings and afternoons, depending on the aspect that you're looking at, we will see the shift to upslope winds, maybe gusting to around 15 miles an hour even in the Snake River Plain. And then in the early evening and then overnight, it'll switch to a downslope flow, which should be very light, I would say 1 to 8 miles an hour. So for Thursday, you can see we do start a warming trend. It's very slow to start, though. We still have a northwesterly flow overall over us, which continues to refresh the warm air and continues to bring in cooler air that does get modified. You can see there's maybe a slight increase in some areas for the relative humidity, but a lot of places are continuing to be very low. This changes though here on Thursday night. Look at how much the maximum humidity during the overnight hours drops, especially over the central Idaho mountains. And you can see the temperatures a little bit warmer. Stanley not getting into the 20s, but staying at 32 degrees, for instance. And it just continues. The high pressure continues the warming trend here. And you can see by Friday, normally at this time of year, Pocatello's average daily high would be 81 degrees. You can see, so we finally surge above normal for this time of year. And look at how the relative humidity really drops here. Single digit readings in a lot of the eastern Magic Valley and in our southern mountains, especially at the lower elevations, but it even gets to Pocatello and Atomic City here in the Snake River Plain. Even Chalice, 9% afternoon relative humidity. And overnight recoveries for humidity, you can see they stay widespread poor to mediocre in some portions of the upper Snake River Plain and in our upper Snake Highlands. And you can see temperatures, they are warming up. That we don't quite have so many 30s anymore, with the exception of, again, Stanley Basin's up about 3 degrees. That's all I have. If you have any further questions, you can always contact us at this telephone number here, or check out the weather yourself at weather.gov/Pocatello. Thanks for watching.